Yep.
And we found it. They are on camera. They are caught. We caught them. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of The Quisha King Show, where we discuss faith, culture, and politics, all geared towards the next generation. Boy, oh boy, do I have a special guest for you. This conversation is going to be very important, particularly if you live in the St. John's, Florida county area. You're going to want to pay attention to this. Before we get started, don't forget to comment while you watch this video. Let us know your thoughts, and please subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to give us a 5-star rating if you are listening to this on your podcast, on the Apple Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you school board candidate Racheal Hand.
Hi.
Hello, Racheal. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing well, thank you. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be on here with you, Mama Bear.
Oh, thank you, fellow Mama Bear. I am honored to have you.
Thank
So,
you.
thank you. So we were just chatting before, and we
Mhm.
came across, just randomly, in doing just some brief research before having you on. I saw an article of I forget the new. I think it was News for Jacks. I want to say it
Yes,
was News for
yes.
Jacks,
Hmm.
and they were saying that you were just, out of your mind, basically. Nobody knew what you were talking about when you were telling them that there were teacher trainings that were coming in to the classroom, that many of these issues that you found issue with were
Hmm.
not in the curriculum per se. Sometimes, yes, but not always.
Hmm.
But being brought in through other means. So
Right.
before we even dive into all of that, we'll get to all of that because it's a
Okay.
lot to unpack. But
Yeah.
why don't you tell everyone who you are and what you are up to?
Yes. Okay. So I am Racheal Hand. I am also a mama bear of two beautiful boys, ages 9 and 6. I am happily married to my soulmate, 10 years, and we are new residents of Florida. I like to introduce myself as a refugee from New York City, and I come in peace, but I did do my due diligence prior to, and we were attracted to St. John's County because it had the #1 school rating,
Mhm.
and so many people were touting about it. So
Right.
after several months, we signed our contract to our home, and it was a process.
Yeah.
But started doing research about the location, the schools, speaking to those in the community, and it was all through social media. And I was just listening and paying attention, and I saw some red flags, and I was
Yeah.
like, hold the phone. I did not just up and relocate my entire family to
Mhm.
only deal with the same nonsense that I fled. Now, mind you, is it in comparison to up north? Absolutely not.
Mhm.
But it can be,
Right.
and that's what we need to prevent. And when I heard and saw these red flags, I said, okay, what can I do? What can I do
Yeah.
about this? Because I'm a go-getter, solution
Mhm.
minded. What can and I know I got a mouth. So so it
Yeah.
was brought to my attention that in the specific district that I was going to live in, that there was going to be an election. And I waited a couple months. I was hoping that someone else would step up that was maybe living there for so long that they
Mhm.
also felt that they, had the same concerns.
Yeah.
And there's a lot. I mean, I'm talking hundreds, thousands of parents
Yeah.
that are concerned, but couldn't bring themselves to run.
Yeah.
I said, okay, if not me, then who?
That's right.
And here I am.
Well, we are so blessed that you decided to jump
Thank
in
you.
this race because our children desperately need fierce fighters, fierce
Right.
warriors.
Yes.
And so your kids are in public school currently?
Yes, they are both in elementary school. I
Mhm.
did homeschool for 2 years prior to because I
Okay.
refused to normalize what was going on up north,
Right.
and, I we just felt like that was no choice. My son
Yeah.
was doing distant learning for several months and was losing his hair and
Mm.
developing anxiety, and I said, "Absolutely not.
Yeah.
We are not hold this in the tracks. We are not doing
Yeah.
this." So, homeschool did not come natural to me, but we
Yeah.
survived. We did it.
Yeah. I'm homeschooling too. No,
Yes, I
it
know, that's
is a struggle.
amazing. It is a
Yeah.
struggle. It's a struggle, but you know what? It's we have to protect our kids and their minds
Mhm.
and their mental health
That's right.
because,
Yeah.
if we're trying to save this country, this is where we gotta start.
Absolutely. That is so true. The next generation, these are our future leaders,
Right?
lawmakers,
Right.
scientists, thinkers, philosophers, writers. And yeah, we need them to be mentally tough. We need them to be, we need them to have everything that they need for the next phases of life. We don't need
Absolutely.
them walking around thinking that, they're oppressed or they're an oppressor, or all these negative things just being pushed on them day in and day out
Right.
when they go to school 8 hours a day, 5 days a week.
Right.
And if anyone thinks that, that's not enough time for bad things to uh
Politics is one thing.
override what you're putting in your kid,
Right.
you might want to rethink that. So if
Right.
your kids are in public school, I always say this: make sure that you're having really probing questions for them.
Mhm.
Just, how was your day? That's not good enough anymore.
No,
Yeah.
no, it is not, and I actually experienced that myself. I started, this school year, I started with the questions of how was school? How was school?
Yep.
And my little guy, over time started shutting down. And I'm
Mm.
like, what is going on, Lord? I was not okay.
Yeah.
And eventually came to find out that there was a troubled student in his class and
Mm.
was was violent. I don't want to sugarcoat it either, but he was violent, and it was just a very concerning learning environment. And
Yeah.
he would come home exhausted, just shut down,
Mm.
and it just broke my heart. Thankfully, that situation has changed, and that's no longer the issue.
Yeah.
But he was getting to a point where he said, "Mom, I don't think I want to do school anymore." I was like,
Yeah.
it's only been 2 months. What?
Oh
It's
no.
only been 2 months.
That is so sad. So do you think it was like the restorative justice? Because I find that a lot of times when they're repeating bullying or violent situations going
Right.
on, the restorative justice where the kids who's causing all the problems, they're never really penalized,
No.
especially if they are a minority student, you know.
Yes. Ding, ding, ding. And just so that we could put it out there for your viewers, I am 100% Puerto Rican. I am a Hispanic woman. So I also see the same issues that Quisha does. And I don't. I don't think we need to be pretending that these things are not happening. It is very
Yeah.
frustrating. So, uh, with door knocking and campaigning, I have been able to speak to so many people, so many teachers
Yeah.
or staff that just feel like they can't speak up about the truth about how things
Yeah.
are being handled.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't know the specific school, or actually, I don't want to say which specific school, but
Mhm.
there was some staff that was concerned about, and I'm wondering if it's the restorative justice that you're speaking of. Students are misbehaving in class. They are then
Mhm.
removed from class, brought to either the some admin's office.
Mhm.
They play a game, given a snack, not even a healthy one, and then they're
Mhm.
back in class.
They go right
So
back to class.
I'm not a
Yep.
psychologist. I am not trying to portray one, but common sense says we are enabling bad behavior.
Ding, ding, ding. Yeah,
You
and
know,
it doesn't have a respect of color. Let's just
no,
be honest. I
no,
mean, bad kids come in all colors.
right,
They come from all backgrounds.
right.
They do. And if we don't address those things, what is going to be the incentive to do better?
Well, this is another thing that I wanted to talk about. And again, it's a conversation that when I bring it up, people are like, they panic and don't know how to continue the conversation.
Yeah.
But if we are specifically going to allow this behavior, especially because a child is a minority,
Hmm.
what kind of mindset are we setting for the other children that are watching?
Yes.
What
And you know
kind of
what? I'm sorry. Go
no,
ahead. I'm sorry.
no, say it because
Well, I was just gonna say, what kind of love or care is that to watch a child? Because because I love my children, when I see
Mhm.
them doing something bad,
Right,
I want to correct that. I have
right,
to discipline them
right,
because I love them and
right,
I
right.
don't want them to continue that thing. So it's like fake. It's not That's not real love and
No,
care. If you see a
no.
child going the wrong way and you're just like, well, they're Hispanic or black or whatever, so we're not going to deal with that. I mean,
Right.
that's not care. That
No,
is that is
no. The Lord wants us
abuse.
to speak the truth in love, and that's exactly what we're supposed to do, no matter
Amen.
what you look like, and no matter where you come from, no matter what your story is. And that is just the complete opposite.
Yeah.
And the problem is one, everyone can blame that it's policy or it's this. Okay, well then the policy sucks and we need to change it, right?
Yes.
But how are we going to change it if the higher levels are not aware that you have this issue, then
Mhm.
how can it be changed? But then
Right.
again, if the teachers don't feel confident in their upper, hierarchy,
Right?
then how are we going to change it? So
Yeah.
there's no communication. No one
Right.
wants to have these hard conversations,
Yeah.
and that is a major problem. And these issues are
Yeah.
just going to exacerbate if we don't fix it,
Absolutely. So you have these, silos that people end up getting into,
right?
and then it becomes an echo chamber.
Right.
And then you have on top of that, you have these diversity, equity, inclusion officers that are paid all this money. They come in and then they're telling you, "Oh no, everything's fine. It's you who have a problem.
Right.
You're not being culturally sensitive.
Right.
You're not looking at the background. Like, I don't need to know the child's background when he just hurled a chair across the room. Like, I don't
Yep.
need to know your background
Right.
to know that that behavior cannot be
Be
allowed in the
normalized.
classroom. That
Right.
should not be allowed in society, let alone in a classroom.
Right.
So I am 100% with you on that. That is just
Yeah.
it's not helping kids. It's actually damaging them, and
No,
it's
right.
it's making them weaker.
Right.
And they're not going to be ready
Absolutely.
for. So what other things are you seeing? So, they said that in this article that you were not basically you didn't know what you were talking about. So for lack of a better word,
Right.
a
They
better phrase.
conveniently left out a whole lot, but
So
when
what are
they
you
asked me
seeing?
about the gender identity issues, and I
Mhm.
said, well, I have an example right here. I even emailed it to the reporter, but God forbid he mentions that part.
Wow.
And it was a form that was requested from high school students at this specific high school from a
Mhm.
specific teacher. And they asked, what do you identify as? Do
Mhm.
your parents know that you identify this way? And would you
Wow.
like us to have that conversation with your parent? What are we doing?
Wow.
What are we doing? So don't
Wow.
tell me that those things again are not happening.
Yeah.
Is it in the actual textbook? Okay, great. You know what? By the grace of God, we have an amazing governor that
Mhm.
stopped all of that in
That's
the
right.
tracks. But
Yes.
now we have supplemental material that,
Mhm.
and again, this is not all teachers. This is
Right.
not these are the teachers that are activists and
Mhm.
that feel led to do what they do,
Yeah.
and they're trying to put their spin on things,
Yeah.
and that is just unacceptable. You can't tell me that these things are not happening when
Yeah.
again people are able to feel comfortable or confident to come to me because I know I give them the privacy of remaining anonymous, and it
Mhm.
just makes me fight harder.
Yeah.
It makes me fight harder because you know, if we have an incumbent who
Mhm.
is saying that these things are not happening, these are not
Right.
issues here, that just goes to show to me that you are not out there talking to the community. You're not
That's
talking to
right.
parents. You're not talking to teachers. You're not out there talking to people. So
Yeah.
again, it's just the driving force for me when
Yeah.
I get those confirmations that yes, this is happening.
And she's been in office for 10 years, is that right?
No, 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 times two.
Oh, 20 years.
20 years, Keisha.
So
So
you guys,
even
so
past
there's
the term limit that the governor just passed.
ah,
And
so,
again, we're so
oh my gosh.
grateful.
So for 20 years,
Mhm.
you mean to tell me that this woman has not seen the decline of academic success? She
You
hasn't
can't say
seen
that.
the deterioration of students and school and public education. I mean, I just want to know, where has she been? I mean, it's like everywhere. So I just wonder. It makes me really question. I mean, I don't know this lady, but for someone not to see it, it's either like willful ignorance at this point,
Right, right,
or your head is just so in the clouds and you are so not paying attention to these children that
right,
you have pledged an oath to care about. And
right,
that should be concerning for all parents
right,
who are going to put their children under um her watch,
right,
as a school board member. And
right.
you know that doesn't seem like a good choice to me.
Right, right. Well, so again, it goes back to that. We have no parental representation. There's no one on our school board right now that has children in the school system. So there's no
Mm,
invested interest into making sure that things are running the proper way or
right.
paying attention to the red flags. You know,
Yeah.
we can tout that we're number one statistically,
Yeah.
but have we lowered the standards to remain there? Right? we
Ooh.
Exactly. Student behavior. I mean, that is the biggest issue as to why we're losing teachers. You know, of course,
Mm,
teacher pay is an issue that people are, still talking about. And again, by the grace of God and the amazing governor, we increased
yep.
the teachers' pay.
Yes.
But teachers are not going to stay no matter what kind of money you are giving them if you
Yeah.
are not supporting them with
Yeah.
children that are misbehaving. And I'm not talking about the calling out. I'm talking about kids are they have they
We're talking felonies, people.
okay, yes, thank you.
Felonies of assault. I know in
Yes.
Duval County, and this was in St. Johns County as well. They found reports that were hidden
Yes.
that teachers were being um they were being assaulted,
Yep,
and some
in one of our
students
high
were
schools,
even being
absolutely.
assaulted.
Last year or the year before, a TikTok challenge, go punch a teacher in the face,
Wow.
and
I
that
mean,
was
and,
okay.
and there is no amount of money that you can pay
No,
anyone
no,
to subject themselves to abuse 5 days a
exactly.
week, 8 hours a day. No way. Like
Right.
that is just that's you can't pay me enough.
No.
There ain't
No.
enough.
It's
You
not,
know.
and it's not worth it. I mean, I've had teachers that have come to me literally in tears,
Yeah.
and they love these children so much,
Yeah.
and they just feel like they're the last piece of
Mhm.
protecting these children,
Yeah.
and I'm like, to what expense?
Yeah.
To what expense? It's
Yeah.
time for parents, and I'm going to call on for parents to come behind their teachers, because
Mhm.
the teachers that want to speak up, they just feel like, I don't have the admin, I don't
Right.
have our district, and I
Yeah.
don't have the parents.
Yeah.
So I'm just a sitting duck waiting to be
Mm.
listen, when parents come together, no one messes with parents.
That's right.
That is
That
the
is so
absolute
right.
truth.
Yeah.
No one messes with parents. So a a little note to all the teachers, if you're listening out there, I suggest you really lock arms with your parents, because they're
Yes.
the ones that are going to get the pay raises. They're the ones that are going to get you the resources that you want and need.
Yeah.
They're the ones, because we can get loud. We
Yes.
can.
Absolutely. When it comes to our kids, I mean, we
Mhm.
want to partner with teachers. We
Right,
want them to have the money that they need,
right,
so they don't have to go into their own pockets to
right,
get supplies for their kids. This money is typically staying at the top, and it doesn't get into the the classroom, which the
Right.
governor, again, our great governor, he's changing that.
Right.
He wants to have, when they get federal dollars, he wants to direct it specifically into the classrooms. And I absolutely 1000% love that,
Right.
because why do we need, if we're paying a superintendent almost $300,000 a year, and these DEI specialists, 6-figure salaries,
Yep.
you're not going to have enough to get
Mhm.
into the classroom, and it's the teachers and the children that end up suffering the most. And most of these consultants and superintendents don't even go into the classroom. They
Right.
have, they have no clue of what's really going on.
Right. Unless
So,
it's an election year,
oh yes,
Unless
yes,
it's an
yes, yes,
election year, because
yes.
that started this year
Right,
out of 20 years, but okay.
right, of course. So, it's so funny. Let's take a minute. So they will try to say that there is no critical race theory in St.
Mhm.
Johns County. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have found it. Supermoms right here, literally in like less than 10 minutes before the show. We literally did this like before the show.
Yep.
And we found it. They are on camera. They are caught. We caught them on camera. Literally saying the very first tenant, maybe even two tenants, but certainly the very first tenet, if I need to remind you of critical race theory, is that America is intrinsically racist, that
Mhm.
literally America exists to uphold white supremacy. This came out of a panel at the St. Johns County School Board. So all of you who doubted Racheal when she was trying to warn you of what was going on behind the scenes, it's on right here for your display. So let's
Mhm.
take a look.
Racism is fueled by the ideology that racial groups are placed in hierarchy, where whites are on top and possess positive attributes, and blacks are at the bottom and possess negative attributes, from beauty to temperament to intellect. Racism is a system that has been a part of the fabric of the United States since the first boatload of Africans were captured, enslaved, and taken to Virginia in 1619.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. You cannot deny. Now that lady, I'm sorry, her name is Miss Bryant. We'll just call her
Mhm.
Miss Bryant. She is at Flagler College, but she is a panelist that the school board, that the St. Johns County School District brought in to have this discussion. So if they are bringing in someone like this, then I can only deduce that this is something that they are in agreement with. She's
Mhm.
not a teacher. She's not employed by St. Johns County, but this is what Racheal is talking about. These supplemental things, these trainings and stuff that come in, and then it spreads to the teachers, and the teachers are now pushing it out to the kids. Yeah. So, how do you feel? Do you feel redeemed?
I mean, yeah. It's again, it's sad, because the confirmation is just, again, more, it's just more confirmation. And now, again, got to roll our sleeves up and see how we're going to address these things. But we have to realize that those issues come from the top.
Yeah.
It comes from the top and it trickles its way down. And again, people, that's the beginning. That's how New York started. That's how New Jersey
Mm,
started. Like,
yeah.
that's how it starts, from the
Right.
top. Let's get the trainings going on. And then
Mhm.
when you want to second guess either a teacher's behavior or supplemental curriculum, or a student's behavior, you know, they've already done the, I guess, to say the right word to say is the brainwashing,
Mhm.
that um you're wrong for feeling that way, that
Yeah.
you shouldn't, that because the trainings have already taken place.
Right.
I mean,
They have already they've affirmed their way of thinking. So,
mhm,
everything is all good. But when you have these trainings that are teaching the teachers, and the way our system, in many different things, from
mhm,
our medical field, from our
right,
teacher fields,
mhm,
education fields, whatever the guy, like in the medical field, it's like the CDC and the FDA.
Right.
Whatever they say, it
Right.
passes on down, and it's like, okay, well, that's the right thing to do. So it's just like that in education. Well, you
Right.
have these PhDs, these professors, and
Mhm.
these trainers.
Right.
The teachers are thinking, okay, well, they've done the study,
Right.
they have done the work.
They're the
Uh,
experts.
yeah, they're the experts. They know. So I guess this is what I need to do.
Right.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Rachel, tell us more about what you want to do on the school board.
So again, I will reiterate, I want nothing more than more parental involvement. My campaign little slogan that I made up was all hands on deck,
Yes.
because I love a play with words, but
Yeah.
two, it's going to take all of us. It's going to take all of us to really realize that we need to do whatever it takes to protect our kids, right?
Yeah.
I'm actually being referred to as a far right extremist because I once made a post saying that I will do whatever it takes to protect my children. I
Yeah.
will gladly
You're
embrace
so
that
extreme.
title. I will
Yes.
gladly embrace that title.
Imagine that, a mother who will go to the ends of the earth for their child. Gasp.
Right. Exactly. So that's what we're dealing with out here. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, so I really want to make sure that there's a lot of community awareness,
Mhm.
and community involvement.
Yeah.
We have a lot of major issues that have happened in our county, in our school district, and parents are not being made aware of it. For
Mm.
example, a hit list that was created. Don't you think that's something that we should be talking to our kids about?
A hit list? What do you
Yes.
mean?
So it was found out that there was a hit list that was created by a student in one of our middle school.
Oh,
And there was a list of students and teachers. The district is claiming that they contacted those that were on the list, but we know parents of children that were on the list that were not contacted. But I
mm,
don't think that that's the furthest that we should go. I don't think that we should be keeping things like that in the back burner. No, we need to be encouraging
yeah.
parents to be speaking to their children. Hey, just got this notice, and you need to be aware of your surroundings, but also you need to be talking if there is anyone showing signs of anything,
Yes.
because silence is it could be deadly. Like, we need to
Right.
be making sure that everyone is on the same page about it. We can't pretend that drugs are not around our students. Like,
Right.
I don't care what county you're in, I don't care what level you are on the totem pole of school districts.
Mhm.
Drugs are everywhere,
They
especially with
are.
border problems that we're having, but that's another conversation.
Yes.
Um,
No,
but
I
we
mean,
need
that's a real thing, especially,
a very
they're
real
making
thing.
these drugs look like candy.
Yes.
And so you could innocently, even children can be innocently just like, hanging out with their friends or whatever, and then
Yep.
get their hands on this stuff. So it is something that we need to pay attention to
Right.
in the school system.
Right. And if it's found in your school, which again, we just got confirmation in one of our elementary schools, they tested one of these candies, Quisha, and it came back. First, it was fentanyl, and then they retested it and it came back as meth. I don't
In
care what
elementary school?
elementary school. Now, this actually made the media, which I was very shocked about. But again, what are we doing? Why aren't we having town halls, sitting parents down? Hey, this is an issue. We need to
Yes.
be together in this to
Yes.
protect our kids.
My God. I mean, I don't understand. Like, do these people have a conscience? Because could you imagine,
Yeah.
let's just say, God forbid,
Mhm.
you hear, this candy is going, this drug is going around looking
Right.
like candy.
Right.
You don't do everything that you can do to make parents aware, to alert the community of what's going
Right.
on, and then something awful, fatal happens to a child. Like, you're going to need severe counseling to be
Mhm.
able to get that off of your conscience. Like,
Yeah.
that is traumatizing.
Right.
So, we have to care more,
Yeah.
truly care, not
Yeah.
this fake stuff.
No,
You know,
no.
not
We need
just
to have these
words.
conversations. Yep,
Yes, we need
absolutely.
to have these conversations and realize, this is beyond, political sides. This is
Exactly.
beyond left or right or independent. It's so
Right.
beyond that. This is
Mhm.
the next generation of American kids.
Right.
And if we don't fix this now, what are we going to leave?
Right.
What are they going to have to look forward to?
Right.
They're
Exactly.
not. Yeah.
And the thing is that we can't fix a problem if we're not actually admitting that there is a problem.
Yeah.
And, you know, again, touting and pretending, you can only tout that you're a number one school district for so long because that marketing is going to go away real fast
Right.
when these stories start coming out.
Yeah.
We already know that the media is ruthless. And,
Yeah.
if there's more and more stories like this, St. Johns County is not going to be as sought out as it is. And
True.
I really truly, with everything in me, I want to be that person that is a voice and a representation for
Yeah.
parents on the school board, as well as teachers who don't feel like they're being heard. I mean, more than 50% of our teachers are not in the union, which I think is amazing.
That's
And
good.
that's able to you're able to really have great conversations with those teachers
Mhm.
because they're telling you what's really
Right.
going on,
No, yeah.
and
That's awesome.
it's getting the community together. I just think that's so important. That saying, it takes
Absolutely.
a village,
Yeah.
right?
But a
And
real village, not like not
exactly,
like
like
the state village. Like literally like grandma,
right,
your
exactly.
aunt, your neighbor.
Yeah, exactly. Not just this Joe Schmo. And I mean, I'm
Not
able
a
to
not a
tell my
government bureaucrat.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. So,
Yeah.
and people appreciate it. I've been, door knocking, sign
Yeah.
waving, going up and down car lines with parents,
Oh,
and they
that's
really,
awesome.
really appreciate being out there,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I say,
They
why
they
not?
haven't seen it in 20 years.
Right.
They
Well,
ain't
they're
never seen a
conveniently
school
seeing
board
some
member. They
now.
probably don't even know what she looked like.
It's so funny. I handed someone a palm card today. She's like, "Oh, is this Racheal Hand?" I was like, "Yes, I'm Racheal Hand." And she's like, "Oh, we never meet those people." And I was like, "Well, here I am."
Oh, that is wonderful. That's awesome. That's so
Yes,
good.
yes,
That is amazing.
yes.
I wanted to go back to something you said about everybody knows St. Johns County if you're in this area because a lot of people actually moved from Duval County to go
Hmm.
to St. Johns County because of the
Right,
better school districts.
right.
So I know here, I'm just curious if you have the same problem. So here, our superintendent, she always touts our graduation rates. Oh, we're
Mm,
at 95%.
mhm,
Oh, 97%. But if you dig down into those numbers, like the kids cannot read, like literally, they can't do math. They are
mhm,
not proficient
mhm,
in these areas where, like, to graduate. So I'm like,
mhm,
Diane, who you graduating, boo? Like who?
mhm.
Who's graduating? Because your test scores say you shouldn't have that high of a graduation rate. So I'm
Yeah.
just curious, are you seeing the same things with the
Uh,
test scores? Are they
right.
proficient? Are kids getting an education?
So, so I guess it depends on the school, right?
Okay.
We have heard teachers complain that they felt forced to pass kids. Um,
Wow. That's
Again, that's a
interesting.
disclosure to our campaign, but
Yeah.
um, it's kids are struggling and they're blaming COVID.
Right.
They're blaming COVID for that, which, okay, great. But we just received millions of dollars of COVID relief money.
Yeah.
And, our kids are still struggling with reading. They're
Yeah.
too occupied, in my opinion, focusing on temporary emotions and
Hmm.
not the actual academia part of school.
Yes.
So can I say that confidently? No, but ratings is the only priority, it seems. And
Mm.
our kids are not numbers. They're not
Oh,
statistics,
that
and
is
that's
so
what's so
good.
upsetting. Yeah,
Our
because
kids are
they
not
again,
numbers.
they're just touting, "Oh, we're
Mm.
number 1. Oh, we've reached this. Oh, okay, great." Um, can they read a book? You
Right.
know? Have they
Let's play
solved the
another.
math problems?
Yeah. Let's play another clip now that you mention temporary feelings and all those things. So there is this Cynthia Williams, is her last
Yes.
name?
Mhm.
Um, I guess she's like the minority. I'm not exactly sure what her title is, but let's
It
play
was the
watch this
minority recruitment.
minority recruitment.
Mhm.
Um, let's look at where her goals are focused because she talks a lot about what her focus is. So let's take
Mhm.
a quick look at that.
I must admit that the word racism is a difficult conversation for even me to hold. Therefore, I understand how others have reluctance when the topic comes up. When we face those challenges, we try to be honest and never putting others down from where they are in their journey. Dr. Bryant mentioned a definition for racism. I'm going to have to go and refer also to a former rattler, Dr. Ibram Kendi, who defines racism as one who supports a racist policy through their actions or their ideas. Kendi also defines anti-racism as one who supports an anti-racist policy through their actions or ideas. Our panelists have shared laws, past and present, policies and experiences along with perceptions. So, no, I'm not an expert on this. I have my own experiences, and my experiences define my perception or understanding of a situation. What I want you all to acknowledge is that we all have biases. We need to be aware of them. We need to listen, learn, understand others in order to move forward. That's why in our district, we provide training. Our human resources department has engaged trainings for administrators, district staff, teachers, and monthly professional development. We read from the book studies for Dr. Muhammad and Dr. Shiroki Holly, books about the will to lead and the skill to teach, and its response to teaching and learning. They serve as a foundation to engage our district staff in those fearless conversations to bring cultural awareness in our schools.
So her goals seem to be very focused on social issues. I don't even know if at any point she really mentioned education. It was all, you know, not that.
Yeah, yes, a lot of affirming and,
Mm,
representation and,
yes.
and listen, I get it. I am a Hispanic woman that was raised in the burbs of New York City.
Mhm.
I dealt with racism, but I dealt with racism from everybody. I just
Mhm.
think it's just ignorance. It's not even
Yeah.
like it's just I was raised to never be a victim. I
Mhm.
mean, I was raised with the last name Rodriguez.
Uh-huh.
Ne- Never felt I mean, and again, like I said, I dealt with racism. I
Mhm.
had my altercations with the white community, black community, even the Hispanic community. Like, come on.
Mhm.
And it's just I'm just so tired of the victimizing of our children. I
Yes.
am so tired of it. And emotions, right? Like, they're temporary. They're not
Yeah.
permanent. They're not, and
Girl,
they're
talk about temporary. Like literally, you could feel one way in the morning, and literally by noon,
you could sing a
you could,
song from,
yes,
you know,
yes, you could be totally
back in the
fine.
day.
Yeah. And so that is a good point. They are so temporary and they're like up and down. And especially when you're a child,
Oh my
like you
goodness. Yeah.
literally have you don't even know how to regulate your emotions. Shoot,
Right.
adults struggle with regulating their emotions. I just
Right.
watched a couple episodes of TikTok and you'll see that. And it's
Mhm.
like, how are we preparing our kids, even emotionally, like how to
Right.
be emotionally tough, to say, okay,
Right.
this is temporary to understand it. No, they're like, no, you need to lean into it. No, feel all the feelings
Right.
and just, embrace every single feeling that you may, have at any moment of the day. And it's just,
Right.
I'm with you on that. Like, it feels like we're just setting ourselves setting the kids up
Mhm.
for failure. Sorry. I got we got a lot of stuff going on over here.
I'm
But I
glad it
wanted
was your house and not mine.
so I wanted to ask you, since you mentioned that you've experienced racism
Mhm.
and yet you are not a victim. So if you could tell a young kid,
Mm.
um, who, let's say they are a minority, you know what? Let's say any kid, because racism comes in you can be black. I don't buy into this. Oh, if you're black, you can't be racist or Hispanic. That's nonsense. That is
Yeah.
absolutely foolishness. If
Right.
there is a kid who is experiencing racism, what
Mhm.
would you tell them?
I would just simply tell them, God made you so perfect and so beautiful.
Mm,
And honestly, with my boys, because they haven't, one of my sons had to experience some things,
mhm,
we have to pray for them because
mhm.
that's ignorance that, you know, was learned from somewhere.
Yeah,
And again, it's not embedded into our beautiful babies. It's
that's
not.
right.
So I would just tell them, you are a victor
That's
and
right.
you can accomplish and do anything that you set your
Mhm.
mind to. I mean,
Yeah,
it sounds so cliche, but
yeah,
that's how we were raised. That
yeah.
was the culture that our generation had, right?
Mhm,
You
mhm.
were made love yourself for who you are.
Yeah,
But now we're in a world that we're encouraging kids to change it.
yeah.
And it doesn't matter how far.
Yeah.
So
And not only that, like, and they're telling kids that changing yourself is really being you.
right. Right.
Like, I
Don't tell
swear,
me.
this has got to be some of the dumbest PhD people I've ever seen. So let me get this straight. So I gotta go and literally like mutilate my whole physical self for me to be myself
And love myself.
and love
Right.
myself. I
Yeah.
gotta go change literally everything about myself for me to
Right.
love and be myself. Okay, yeah.
Exactly. So,
Dumb.
I mean, let's just get back to
Crazy.
basics, right?
Yes,
Common
back to
sense.
basics. Yeah.
I mean, it's not so common anymore, I've come to realize, but it's literally just going back to that.
Yeah.
You know, loving yourself the way that you are. You were created so beautifully and perfectly, you
Mhm.
know, and we need to be empowering these kids, not affirming this victimhood.
That's right.
We can't, you know,
Yeah.
like the reality is my parents said people are not going to like you because of your last name and this and that, but you're going to rise up. And I
Mm. Amen.
always did, you
That's
know?
incredible. I
Yeah.
love that. So, Rachel, tell everyone about your website, where they can donate to your campaign, where they can get signs, where they can volunteer,
Yes.
and any other links that you want us to
Oh,
know
fun,
about.
fun, the fun part. Okay, so my website is votehandforschoolboard.com. On there, you will get a little snippet of me and you will be able to donate. You can also sign up there to volunteer or to request for a yard sign. We will hand deliver it to you. Most likely, it's going to be me because I like meeting everybody. I really do. I love going out there and meeting everyone.
Yes.
Early voting starts tomorrow for St. Johns
Yes.
County. So that's a big thing. And we are also, I should actually put this out here. We're having an event. Stay
Okay.
tuned. Yes, I'm having an event on Sunday. We are actually just like announcing it today
Okay.
at Mills Field in Julington Creek baseball fields
Okay.
on Sunday, the 30th from
30th.
2 to 4 p.m. We're going to
Oh,
have food
great.
trucks. It's going to be family fun, community awareness. I want parents to be able to like talk to each other from other sides of the district
Yeah.
and just have fun.
That is amazing.
Yes.
I love it. And
Yes.
what district are you running in?
I'm in District 1.
District 1, St. John's County District 1 School Board.
Yes.
All right, Racheal, thank you so much for coming
Thank
on.
you.
This was like really, really good. I must say I was not expecting that info that we found.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
not expecting that.
Yeah, you'll be
Bombshell.
surprised what else
Just-
you'll find on that website.
Yes, I'm sure we'll continue digging and
Yeah.
we'll let you guys know what else we
Yeah.
find. Racheal, thank
Sounds
you
good.
so much. Be blessed in your race. I pray that God just blesses you and that you win and that you are able to accomplish all the things that you want for these kids. And thank you so much for coming on this show.
Thank you.
Everyone,
Thank
I
you.
will put all of Racheal's links in the description box below. And please don't forget to comment, like, share this video. Please share this out because there are a lot of parents who do not know what is going on and they think that everything is fine. There are even school board members sitting right now who do not know what's going on. So share this with them too so they can know what's going on before Racheal goes in there and replaces them. So,
Right.
please don't forget to subscribe to the channel as well and make sure that you give us 5 stars if you're listening on Apple Podcasts. As always, thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.